And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bubba and the Bloom, episode 199. Oh, man, we're so close to number 200. We're back with you here on a Thursday evening to do the hitter side of the ADP risers and fallers from November to December using Draft Champions ADP this time around. Before we get to that and much, much more, you can find me on Twitter at BDentric, the podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod, on Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at RyanBHQ. Ryan Bloomfield, how we doing, my friend?
We're busy. We're coming down off the Christmas fun, Christmas cleanup, while also packing for a week in Arizona with the family. So flight leaves out of Portland 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. I think we're getting up at like 5, and so we're headed down to the desert, staying in Scottsdale, pretty close to where first pitches. So may have to do a little bit of touring of some Bubba and the Bloom invitational sites, namely Dobson Ranch, but maybe some others.
Yes, Dobson Ranch, November 6th, 2025. Be prepared. It's going down. We're back, baby. Yes.
That's an early announcement, but I guess it is official since first pitch is November 6th through 9th. Unless Dobson has some kind of issue. Maybe I'll go ask him.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a little face-to-face, talk to them and see what they're up to.
We'll do that Thursday.
Maybe show them a golf towel. Tell them thanks. See what's going on.
Maybe I should pack a packing such a
it's the worst.
Maybe I should I packed a golf glove. That's my strategy. I know I'm probably gonna play down there, but I'm not bringing my rule is if I play twice, then it's worth bringing my clubs.
Yes.
But with 2 little kids, I'm not. There's no way. There's no way I'm bringing my clubs. So I'm just bringing my glove and some golf socks, and I'll just rent down there.
Beautiful. You and Raj could just tell Raj to bring some of his 1903 golf balls, and
see,
he'll be just fine.
See if he's still got some of those lying around.
Pretty sure you can dig them up at a coffee can in the backyard somewhere. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Yeah. So yeah, things are busy. How was your Christmas? You were sending some awfully juicy, meaty photos
of food, folks.
Of food in the food and drink channel of the Discord. So it looked like you had a good time.
It was great. I had family at my place for like 2.5 days, so that can be a lot at times, but it was still fun. It was good seeing people and playing with the little one, and that's all they really cared about anyway. So I was doing what I like to do, and I was cooking it up, some appetizers, some main courses, and drinking plenty of high noons during the day and red wine in the evenings. So life was good in Bubba's world for a couple days, but it's been nice to relax today as everyone's gone and it's quiet. It's just me and the dog right now, and I haven't even fully put everything away yet. I put the important stuff away, and I'm like, I'll worry about that this weekend.
In 2 of the pictures, I'm weird like this. I snoop around. Yeah. I look. There was one was the high noon, like on the periphery. I'm like, sure, all right. So there's this thing of meat, and then a high noon next to it, and then the other one was just classic bottle ibuprofen sitting there right next to the meat.
The best part is that wasn't for me. Okay. It's one of the older folks at the establishment was needing ibuprofen, so I just left it on the counter for them. Like, it's here anytime you need it. I'm not gonna keep going and getting it from my bathroom for you. So that just happened to be in the pic, and then there was the other picture where my dog's just sitting there staring at me, cutting.
That's right.
Waiting for his, because I do take care of him every time. Every time we cook steak, he gets his bowl with some on top still. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, he knows what's up. And so it was a good time. Everyone it seemed like a good time. And it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. And that's all that really matters in the end. But now I get to work on stuff on the site like you did when I was on vacation, because now you're going on vacation and it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you guys are not putting 2 to 2 together yet, but Ryan out of town, you'll get 2 episodes next week. Going to be awesome. That's all I'm going to say. Really good stuff. Episode 200's around the corner with a couple nice announcements is all I'm going to throw out there. Did you want to add on to the announcements or just tease it a little more?
No, you did a good job. When will episode 200 hit? Like late New Year's night? New Year's Eve night?
Late New Year's Eve night. So if you're, getting ready to bring in the New Year's on the West Coast, because the East Coast, you should be either incoherent or asleep at the point that this thing drops. West Coast, you might be able to listen to our beautiful voices as the ball drops. It's up to you. Do you want us or Ryan Seacrest? That's up to you. But
Debatable.
It'll be dropping Tuesday night.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Keep an eye out. We have obviously already recorded it, but just it was kind of cool to have 200 drop at the same time as New Year's Day. So yeah, we had fun with it.
And I will say this much: the episode is our New Year's resolution episode, like we did last year. So it was perfectly episode 200 is all that. So
Yeah.
resolutions and then announcements, some fun stuff like coming your way at Bubba the Bloom as usual.
Absolutely. And this is the final. So yeah, this is basically the final show of 2024, man. Didn't realize that till now.
Another year in the books. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed it. It seems like everyone has. We talk much more about that in episode 200, so I won't bore you guys with that top conversation. But it's been a blast. It's been a lot of fun. And 2025, we think, I'll speak for you on this one, it's going to be bigger and better. So a lot of cool stuff coming your way. A trip, I'll say at least, and some other cool things. I'll keep teasing it a little bit here. But yeah, listen to the episode. I think you guys will hopefully be on board and have some fun with it. All right, let's get into it. This will be a quicker show tonight as there's been no news since everyone enjoyed the holidays, including professional athletes, which was good. So we are going to do ADP, risers, and fallers hitting edition according to DC ADP this time around, Ryan. So before we get going, remind everybody what we are looking at.
Right. So similar deal as last time we did our hitter show Tuesday night Monday night, / Tuesday morning, which is the highest risers by pick value. So that's why you see some of these guys. You'll have like Garrett Crochet is the third highest riser, only went 12 pick from 42 to 30, but that gap in value is the how I'm sorting this. And so similar to our hitters, we've got 15 risers. We've got 15 fallers. And yes, this is for draft and holds from November to December. And we'll try and call out just because there was so much movement. A lot of this movement, as you'll hear, is from like winter meetings, which were early December. So we will try to call out kind of the most recent drafts and give like a true ADP because, for example, Trevor Megill, who's the top pitching riser from November to December, we're showing a 181 ADP in December drafts. And that is much earlier than that. So in recent drafts.
Yep. So we'll kick it off right there. Trevor Megill in November had an ADP of 304, December 181. In December, Trevor Megill has gone as high as 64, Ryan. Obviously, with Devin Williams leaving town, Trevor is the dude. Any thoughts on this? Because he was pretty good when he had the role last year.
He was pretty good when he had the role last year. I'm gonna at least try and maybe throw some cold water on this. Trevor Megill, yes, was fantastic when in the first half when he had the role. 171 ERA, sub-1 WHIP, 17 saves. But I don't know if we think about what Trevor Megill did in the second half. It was an ERA north of 4 with expected ERA north of 4. Had back issues. Is now 30. And has had one good season. So I don't know. He's going around like Lucas Erceg in terms of closer ADP right now. I think that's about right. And I think Trevor Megill, like right possession is 9/10 of the law. That's huge for closers, but I wouldn't go all crazy and think this is like, I wouldn't do a top 70 pick on this guy. I think that combination of lack of track record and really the way that Trevor Megill finished the season last year with back problems, swing strike rate went down from 18 down to 10%, which is below league average. I don't think this is like a bona fide strong closer.
And if I can throw any more shade on this, just remember that the Brewers have zero problem trading people.
Or trading them, yeah.
Zero problems. So Megill could be a guy that's really awesome for a half a season and then gone. So that's something else to keep in mind as well. But I like him a lot. I'm not going to tell you not to pick him if you don't want to. I won't go that hard on it, but just know there are some things to keep in mind if doing so.
And this is the benefit of early drafting, right? We say like, why, and I know you have some Trevor Megill shares in November. Yep. It's like, why did we draft so early? Well, it's because Trevor Megill could have been had at an ADP of 304. So there is that. I still think like if you're in draft and holds right now, and this is draft and hold season, I mean, I would look at the leverage ladder in Milwaukee and take some late stabs at some of these guys. I'm not sure who it could be. Abner Uribe, Joel Payamps. There's a guy named Craig Yoho, Pirates life for me. sitting there late.
Nate Mears is some
Yep.
heat. I'll do a shameless plug if you want to hear about relief pitching ladders. One of my latest episodes with the good doctor, Mike Carter. We went through every single team's bullpen for potential DC late targets. So go check that out as well. It's at least give you some names to keep in mind later in your drafts.
Yep.
All right. Roki Sasaki, 102 ADP in November, 75 in December, as high as 61 in December. I think we were talking off air. The biggest reason it's moved is like he's officially declared he's going to sign somewhere. So people are getting aggressive with it, expecting him to sign sooner. I think he has to sign in the next couple of weeks, actually, if I remember correctly, due to the window that was opened for him. But what are your thoughts on this one? Because I've just been very scared to pay this premium for Roki Sasaki.
Yeah, I mean, the rise is, because it's more and more likely that he's going to sign, if not guaranteed at this point. I was also skeptical, at least at the price. And then we had our baseball forecaster shows and we had Tom Mulhall on, and that kind of cemented it for me as well. And so basically, I love like the long-term potential with Sasaki. Don't like the recent injury history, don't like the lack of innings, and don't like how he may or may not adapt to a major league workload. And of course, don't like the price. So like right now, Roki Sasaki is the 30th pitcher off the board, like in recent Gladiator drafts. I'm using those just because those all happened that day, and it's kind of a little bit more recent, but he's going right behind Michael King and Pablo Lopez, Framber Valdez. Like I'm taking those other three all day over Sasaki.
Yep, 100% on board with you on that one. Garrett Crochet goes from an ADP of 42 in November. It's 30 in December, as high as 18 in December. I loved my third round shares of Crochet. That's long gone. To me, it's just kind of funny. The impact of going from the White Sox to the Red Sox has apparently moved Crochet a full round in ADP. Just like changing from that dumpster fire to, I guess you could say, an AL East contender. They're fighting for it. They're putting the money in. Gets them a full round of ADP.
Yeah, that is wild. I didn't realize it was that much. And it's now to the point where Garrett Crochet is like the 5th starting pitcher off the board. This is someone with, I'm just eyeballing it here, but like a little over 200 innings pitched total over the last 4 or 5 seasons. And he's the number 5 pitcher going ahead of Logan Gilbert right now. I think that's a little pricey. And yes, same thing could have been said perhaps to Tariq Skubal this time last season. I would have been burned on that, but I want a little bit more perceived safety and innings track record if I'm using a 2nd round pick now on Garrett Crochet. That price is kind of wild, but I mean, he is one of the best pitchers in baseball. So
yeah, he's nearly a 1-2 turn guy, right? In certain drafts, that's bonkers.
Yeah.
Neon Dolphins in the chat says ADP at this point will likely be heavily impacted by whales who probably have like over entries across various formats by now, right? So he's talking about guys that draft a ton, affecting ADP. I don't know about at least the early picks. What do you think about that, right? I don't think the mega drafters of the world are affecting it that much.
I think they diversify a little bit early, and as they probably should. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's an interesting point, though. And welcome, Neon Dolphins. I think this may be a first-time comment.
Yeah,
so.
maybe. Welcome to the party.
Yep.
Jordan Romano, ADP of 295 in November, 241 in December. Romano has gone as high as 155, so in the 11th round in a DC. We know he signed with Philly. We all assume healthy will start in Philly. That's the assumption. What are your thoughts on this move up to 241? Is probably not bad. 155 is a little more interesting, I guess.
I guess. I mean, I have read that Philadelphia says they are done in their bullpen, which to me implies that Romano is most likely the guy. I mean, Philly has mixed things up recently, so maybe it's not a 90-95% save share, but wouldn't be surprised if it's like 80% for Romano. The gamble with Romano is still all with the health. It's all with the health. I mean, if this is the Romano that we saw from 21 to 23, this is a hell of a deal. If this is last year's Romano, obviously you're kind of screwed. I think the price is pretty decent. I mean, it's definitely later than your Megill, your Urseg. It's around like Ben Joyce, Michael Kopech. I'm fine taking a shot there at Romano.
Yeah, that's a good with Joyce and Kopech. Yeah, Romano, especially if he is the guy, which again we have to assume he is. That would check out pretty well with that ADP. Griffin Jacks. This one's interesting to me. ADP of 303 in November, 249 in December, gone as high as 226 in December. There was the rumors early on in November that he was going to be moved to the rotation. That has been squashed in recent meetings. That he's just going to be in the bullpen. I'm still trying to figure. Like I love Griffin Jacks. I'm just trying to figure out why there's this big push to keep moving him up ADP if he's still the eighth inning guy that I know was one of the better eighth inning guys in all baseball, though.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I could see the rise. Maybe this is just a delay of when kind of those rumors were shot down. Or I don't even know, were they rumors or like did Minnesota actually say they were considering Jax as
the
a
article I
starter?
read is they were debating moving him back in the rotation because he originally was a starter,
Yeah.
and then that got squashed.
Okay. Like they brought it up and then squashed it.
Yeah, like in the winter meetings or the GM meetings, one of those meetings recently, they said no, they're going to keep him in the bullpen. That's why they're pretty much done adding to the bullpen.
I think the rise is warranted if Griffin Jacks was a starter, but obviously he's not, and so I don't think this rise is warranted. Like, yes, Joan Duran doesn't get every single save in Minnesota. Jacks will get his. I mean, even last year he had. I mean, the nice thing with Jacks was not only the 10 saves, the great ratios, but also 5 wins, 95 strikeouts. So, like, if he does that again, this is a fine place in the draft to take Griffin Jacks. I just don't know. I don't know the odds of Griffin Jacks doing that again. He's a great pitcher, but 5 wins and 10 saves, that's hard to duplicate.
I guess I'm just more angry because I used to always take him later as a late round reliever in DCs to kind of aid to my bench, and now I have to actually commit to it if I want to get to it type thing. And that's
I would love to see him at least try it in the rotation because he's got pretty much a 4-pitch mix. He throws a sweeper, 4-seam changeup, and sinker. Like 4 distinct pitches, and he throws them all over 10% of the time. 4-seam 30%, sweeper 38. So this isn't just someone going all out fastball slider. I would have liked to have seen what could happen with Griffin Jacks, but
maybe we will someday. Time will tell. As you look at the Twins rotation, it's Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan Shoulder, Bailey Ober, Simeon Woods Richardson, and Chris Paddock, who you know the health history there. So
they need help.
Yeah, you go deeper like Louis Varland. That didn't work out a lot last year. I'm just going to keep going. If you're both David Festa, who I think actually will have some run, Zevi Matthews. So they have options, but none of them have proven to be elite options just yet. So a guy with this, like you said, the repertoire as of a Griffin Jacks could be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Lucas Irseg, 123 ADP in November, down to 106 in December, and he's gone as high as 82. I think it's just the movements of closers up in drafts is the best I can put it. But I like Irseg a lot. It's tougher and tougher the higher he goes up in the ADP, just for a guy that did it for a half a season. I love the skills again, but a half a season of this is betting on a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with it because I mean he's got the job, doesn't he?
He should.
That's
barring something really dumb, he should. Yes.
And I don't know. Yeah. The pre-2024 stats for Lucas Irseg were admittedly not that hot. I mean, even in 2023, like it was kind of brutal. So you don't have the track record to go off of. But I mean, last year Lucas Irseg was like, I mean, almost a 30% K rate. The K-minus walk was over 20%, supported by he throws strikes, he misses bats, the velocity's there. Like I think Lucas Irseg is an excellent pick at 106, and certainly I would take him over the next guy, Ryan Walker, at 101.
Yeah, and Irseg has a full 4-pitch mix as well, which makes him pretty dangerous when all things are said and done.
Or rotation candidate, but that's not going to happen this year.
Lucas Irseg, he's not a rookie. Yeah, he's always been a bullpen guy, but he's shot. Well, I never say never this year of baseball. Ryan Walker, ADP of 117 in November, 101 in December. Again, closers moving up a little bit. It's gone as high as 89, so it's kind of like him and Irseg just hanging out together up and down the ADP pools. I'd go Irseg over Walker as well, but because personally, I think Walker needs to be utilized in other spots where he's been very, very good. He's been great as a closer in his short time, and I eventually think Camilo Duvall gets his job back sometime this season.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Like, what are the odds that halfway through the season, Ryan Walker's still the Giants closer?
Like it's got to take a few things. It's going to be Duvall figures it out again, which you never know. It could happen, maybe doesn't happen. And the Giants will also have to have injuries that need either a long man, like an opener, which he did a lot, or a starter. Like that's the thing with Walker. He's like a Swiss Army knife of a bullpen arm. He can do everything, which he did last year. So Walker will start with the gig, and if nothing changes, then obviously he'll keep it all year. If situations dictate that the Giants need something else and Duvall figures it out, then Walker will move elsewhere. So, you probably say 3/4 of the time Walker finishes the season as the closer.
Okay.
But there is a window where it might not happen.
Do you think, because I'm looking at Duvall's ADP recently, it's like around 340. I think that's late enough. You could handcuff two of these guys,
Yes.
both of them, and get the Giant. Because I think the chances of Giant saves not coming from Walker or Duvall is pretty low at this point. I think
it's one of those two, unless they sign someone else. That's it.
Yeah.
And I've taken a few shares of Duvall, so I have no problem with that. The other reason I'm kind of thinking along those lines is when Buster Posey was asked at the winter meetings what the Giants are, if they're moving on from Duvall or not, and he says, no, we have the utmost confidence he'll get his form back.
So Buster's going to fix him.
Well, I don't know, but so far what Buster has said, things have happened. That's all. Like, signings have been made. Like, things are taking place that haven't been taking place in the past as a Giants fan. Good or bad, they have been taking place.
Okay. All right.
All right. Blake Snell, a ADP of 50 in November. In December, an ADP of 43. It's gone as high as 34. Thoughts on this one? Because I know he signed with the Dodgers. That's probably the move, but anything else for you there?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge jump, but just because the value of going from pick 50 to 43, I mean, that's half a round in the third or fourth round. Like that is somewhat of a sizable jump for Snell. And yeah, it's got to all be signing with your boys. I'm surprised you haven't used the word deferred yet, but I think the rise is warranted. I think the win potential with Snell is that much higher. With the Dodgers, he's going after right after George Kirby and going right before Dylan Cease, Cole Reagan's Yamamoto. I think that's about right, honestly. It's funny. He's actually going like in amongst this massive run of closers. It's Hader, Mason Miller, then Snell, Bautista, Helsley, Iglesias.
That's
all going like between 40 and 50. It's just that part of the draft is just crazy. So,
and what's your thoughts on you mentioned Crochet's too rich for you, but now you got Snell at 43. Like, what's your thoughts on that difference?
It's the track record. It's got to be the track record for Blake Snell, right? I mean, some of that track record has been Snell being very bad, but I just think 180 innings in 2023, 120 in 2024. Just and like Blake Snell's not an innings machine, and there's work to do pitching deep into games and all that stuff. I think the workload history is better for Snell.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was just more curious because you're saying like Crochet's getting too rich, so you basically wait around and get a Blake Snell who probably pretty similar potential. I don't know. You're playing with fire with injuries with him too, but yeah, it's interesting.
It just I don't have either of them because this is the point in the draft where I'm falling into that closer run, right or wrong. I'm getting a Josh Hader, an Iglesias, whatever, because I'm just scared as hell of not having a closer in these early drafting holds.
It'll be really fun to see the difference in ADPs once we get the Fab ADPs really cranking up, because a lot of those closer runs will potentially push back a little bit.
Yes,
and then you'll still see starters up here, but the closers will move out a little bit more, and that'll make things a little more, I guess, cut and dry for deep draft season.
And I'm not sure when those Fab leagues really start till we get enough to where there's I want to say like February.
Yeah, where you get a consistent flow of a good ADP set, because like there's slow drafts going right now.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm gonna kind of wait a little longer to start trusting that ADP on that one. Edwin Diaz, ADP of 48 in November, 42 in December, and he's gone as high as 31. So it must have been a closer run draft, is the way I would see that one. Edwin's been a tricky one for me. What are your thoughts on this one, Ryan?
I mean, I'd take Class A and Devin Williams instead of him. So
what about Hader?
That's a good one. I don't know.
I'd take Hader.
I think I'd take Hader.
If anybody cares, I would take Hader.
but yeah, I don't know. That you're splitting hairs. We don't know.
I don't know how to split hairs, right? I don't have any. Robert
At least on
Suarez
your head.
on top of my head, yes. Robert Suarez, November ADP is 77, December ADP of 66. Got as high as 55. So again, must have just been a closer run draft.
This is just the widespread panic, right? I mean, this every single close, especially like Diaz, Suarez, Walk, like nothing has really changed with these guys. It's just the market panicking,
tighter,
getting that early closer.
Yep, for sure. This one's, it's a minor move, but like you said, it's like the end of a round to the beginning of a round type situation, or I guess it's the middle of early round 4 to the back end of round 3. That's Dylan Cease going from 48 in November to 44 in December with a high of my fat fingers could type high of 33. So he's gone the early round 3 at a times. What's your thoughts here on Dylan Cease? Because I know every year I go, well, if he doesn't walk guys, he's awesome.
Yeah, and actually the walk rate's been like really stable for Dylan Cease lately. Like I've
taken a lot of shares early already.
The only pitcher in baseball with 200 plus strikeouts in each of the last 4 seasons, and Dylan Cease has cleared that by quite a bit. 3 of the last 4 seasons is 224 plus strikeouts. Like that is massive. And so you do have the one bad year with the White Sox, 2023, or is a 4.58 ERA, a 1.42 WHIP. So in the back of my mind, I always think maybe there's some ratio risk because he's also somewhat of a fly ball pitcher. But you cannot argue with the volume, the strikeouts, and really 3 of the last 4 years, the ratios have been fine. So I get it. I don't know. I don't really know why he's rising. That could just be random, but Dylan Cease, I think, is fine as a top 50 overall starting pitcher.
Yeah, when Crochet started leaving round 3, Cease became a target of mine because he's been the innings guy and the strikeout guys. And I've mentioned on other shows, I'm trying to be more cognizant of strikeout ability in my early picks. That's been a target of mine. So, and Ryan has mentioned I have a whip problem, so maybe we should address that at another time. But I will work on strikeouts for sure.
Dylan Cease could be your mascot this year. Team Whip.
But it's not a me thing; it's an us thing, Ryan. So we got to figure our mascot out. There's a difference. Justin Martinez of the Arizona Diamondbacks, a 223 November ADP, 202 December ADP, as high as 180. I'll get your thoughts here before I give my major thoughts on Justin Martinez. But are you in line with this rise?
I'm just worried that AJ Puck could get it. I listened to you and Mike Carter, and I was kind of nodding along. We talked about Dylan Cease and walk rate problems. Justin Martinez has some walk rate problems. There is a ton of swing and miss, ton of ground balls. Like those pieces are in place, but this could, and it doesn't even have to unravel for Justin Martinez. Like he could just have like an Evan Phillips type, like bad 2 weeks and never get the job again because Puck can be so good. So I don't know. Or it's a 50-50 save split between the two, depending on matchups. We just don't know how that's going to play out. So I'm a little bit like I'd rather spend, and that's what I'm doing, even 100 picks earlier to take an Urseg, a Megill type, and just not have to worry about it as much as taking Justin Martinez and then still having to worry about it.
Well, and AJ Puck, his December ADP is 297, 95 picks after Justin Martinez. I'll take my chances there if I want a piece of Arizona, and I've done that often.
Okay.
Because I think my thought process, if anybody hasn't heard my thoughts on Puck, I think he still gets double-digit saves. Like it might not be a full 50-50, but he'll get plenty. Plus strikeouts and wins will be in play for AJ Puck. So I'm in favor of that move. All right, Porter Hodge, 178 ADP in November, 162 in December. He has, good Lord, his ADP is 140 is the highest he's gone. I know you're not the biggest Porter Hodge guy, though.
I mean, I think Hodge himself is fine. There's also control issues there. I mean, only get, I think, 9 saves last year with the Cubs. So like the track record is not there. And I haven't been proven right yet, but I still think Chicago makes a move to sign a closer. That's just a gut feel. I don't know if that'll happen, but even if they don't, like, I don't think Porter Hodge is cemented as the guy. He's only got 9 career saves in the majors.
Yeah, that's the only conundrum there. They've been rumored to be looking at a closer, and they have a ton of other options if they want to play that game as well. For some guys with a little bit of experience, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
One reason to draft early was a guy like Sandy Alcantara, because that is slowly leaving the building, folks. November ADP for Sandy was 167. December ADP is 151. He's gone as high as 120 in December. So he's on the move. He's a top 10 pick in some drafts. Or he's a top 10 pick pretty much in most drafts. He's creeping into like top 12 round pick in others. So our top 8. Sorry, my math is all over the board right now. What's your thoughts on this? Because I am Team Sandy all the way here, and he's moving up, which makes things a little more complicated, but I'm still a believer.
Sandy is one of the pitchers where I don't know what to do or say about him, and so I'm not drafting him just because I don't know. I mean, how many innings do you think he throws?
At least 160.
You think he throws that much?
At least, yes.
Okay. And so,
what do the Marlins have to lose?
Sandy.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care. They just traded Jake Berger for a bag of balls.
A bag of burgers. Yeah. No, I mean, if you think Sandy throws that many innings, I think 150 ADP is that's worth it. It's worth it.
That's my thoughts. All right, last one here. Andres Munoz, ADP of 72 in November, 67 in December, as high as 57. Your boy is slightly on the move.
My man, we have a potential beer bet coming from outside the podcast. On Christmas, Mike Carter challenged me to 30 saves. Andres Munoz over under as a beer bet, which that would be a career high. So I'm not really too keen on 30, but maybe 25.
Negotiate that a little more.
Yeah, I might have to work that down a little bit with Mike, but I might do a 25 save Andres Munoz beer bet.
You need to play the game like our good buddies, Bogman and the Welsh like to do. They like to play fantasy chicken and see where it goes. That's when you guys can play to see what that bet number is. All right, let's go. Oh, sorry.
No, No, he's really good, and he's the guy in Seattle. So
yeah,
we're coming. We're coming.
All right, the fallers side of things here in the ADP world. Kyle Finnegan, 182 in November, 275 in December. He still has gone as high as 184 in December. So the news happened in November too, but it might have been a November draft that carried over in December. We'll see. But he's fallen almost 100 picks in a month after he lost his job in Washington. But Ryan, I feel like if he signs as a closer.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he's not as much of a lock as some others. You're probably right.
He doesn't have like the Kenley Jansen leverage to be able to do that. So I'm not totally sold. I still think chances are. They still think Finnegan's more likely to sign as a closer than not, but I don't think it's a slam dunk. This is the downside of drafting early. So in the meatball draft, yours truly took Kyle Finnegan, I think in like the 12th round, 13th round, something like that. Loved it because the leash he had with Washington was seemingly long as hell. And then they just freaking cut him. So that wasn't cool. And that hurt.
You know what I'll bring up here on the followers? I'll say how low they've gone to make it a little more fun. So in December, Finnegan's gone as low as 358.
Wow, that is really
I
late.
think I could check. I have it right here. I feel like in my most recent draft, I did not. But I know I was looking into taking a late round Finnegan just to have in case situation at 358.
Yeah, I mean, if you do not look at the save column with Kyle Finnegan, like there isn't much here, man.
No, it's not. It's
like he's really the skills are not. Yeah, he needs the save. The skills are nowhere near closer worthy. However, in real baseball, I mean, Kyle Finnegan has shown the ability to consistently close out games for 2 seasons for the Nationals, and so he does have that. If you want to call it mentality, moxie, whatever. He's been able to do it for 2 years. So that is saying something, but yeah, like this is not good under the hood for Kyle Finnegan.
Well, you just mentioned drafting early has its downfalls for you. For me, it was Luke Weaver. I was invested. I loved what we saw. I'm still good with him being like a Griffin Jacks type late inning guy that Probably won't get as many saves due to getting Devin Williams, but he'll have late inning rolls, wins, strikeouts will be there. I still like that ability, but his November ADP of 162 is not the ability you want right there. December ADP for Luke Weaver is 200, as low as 339. So you start getting to that 300 world, I'll start taking some more Luke Weaver again to make some backups, and God forbid something were to happen to Devin Williams, we're sitting pretty now. Any other thoughts on the Luke Weaver situation?
Yeah, no, this is the downside of drafting early. I do think, like, I will say, maybe you disagree, I thought Kyle Finnegan was much more of a sure thing than Luke Weaver closing.
Oh, 100%.
At least holding a job. Luke Weaver's a better pitcher, but I'm just saying in terms of holding the job.
We have Finnegan on the Nationals. Like, you don't expect them to do too much like movement and adding and whatnot, where the Yankees could add at any moment. Wouldn't shock. And like, the only guy not replaceable there is pretty much like Aaron Judge. Like, everybody else almost has a price tag in that team.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yep. Yeah. There is also, there is some Luke Weaver risk. Like, you want to talk about not having a track record.
Oh, it's a bad one.
Guy.
No, he has a track record. He does.
Yeah, he does have a track record. Yeah.
The guy I streamed against in DFS all the time when he was starting for like the Cardinals. Yes, I know who he is.
My dude has ERAs over 6 in 3 of the last 4 seasons before 2024. So, like, yes, last year was very real. The skills looked really good, but are we completely out of the woods with Luke Weaver?
Well, for me, maybe. It's one of those like failed starter, goes to the bullpen, changes pitch mix, learns he can throw harder. Like that's a plus for me. We've seen that actually be successful.
Yeah, and the velocity.
Look at AJ Puck. AJ Puck right there.
Yep. No. Yep. Touche. Fair point.
So that was where my brain was kind of reeling. Again, my brain's not always there. So just
give yourself some credit. I liked it.
All right, here's your boy, Jack Flaherty, 118 ADP in November, 138 in December, as low as 162. Free agent. That's the only reason I can see this falling.
Yep. Same, which if you believe in Jack Flaherty, the pitcher,
enjoy it.
Yeah, you take this fall and you take the 2-round discount or whatever. I mean, what are the, and maybe the fall too is like the longer he does not sign with the Dodgers, like is that ship sailing? And therefore, like, yes, not being on the Dodgers does kind of hurt Jack Flaherty's.
Well, I know there's been a rumor floating that he returns to Detroit. That's been one of the later rumors. Would that drop affect you that much, or would you understand that drop?
No, I don't. I don't think because he was really good with Detroit.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's not a whole lot of teams that would worry me.
Good point. Yeah,
like that. That's where it's the Dodgers gives him a bump. But most teams wouldn't worry me if he still is that talent that we saw last year. Yeah, you might lose a couple wins. That sucks. I get it, but you can't predict wins. So
yeah, if anything, if it's not the Dodgers, I'd probably want the Tigers more than any other team.
Yeah, that ballpark.
Somewhere he excelled and they know and they know how to use him. And great park. Like that would be fine with me.
So yeah, the fall is just interesting. Some people like clarity when they draft, so I don't know why you're drafting early. Then that's all I'm going to say.
We have problems.
I've established that a long time ago. That's why I podcasted for so long. Spencer Strider, ADP of 130 in November, 152 in December, as low as 178. He just keeps falling. It's not like the news has changed that much, so I'm really confused by this. We knew he had surgery. Even in November, we kind of got the rumblings that he wasn't going to be ready to start opening day, but yet it's finally catching on.
And not even really that close to opening day, really. Like I think this is not so much a fall as it is just like a correction. I think Spencer Strider was going too early in these too early drafts. 130 was too rich.
I completely agree with you on that one. Jackson Jobe. 241 ADP in November because everyone loved him coming off the end of the season. Down to 277 in December, Ryan, as low as 313. And if you look Detroit Tigers, not to mention if they were to add Flaherty, but like right now, Joe's penciled in as the SP5 because they already added Alex Cobb. You got Reese Olson, Skubal, and Mize there. What's your thoughts on this Jackson Jobe fall? Because we just got a little taste of him like in the postseason.
Yeah, that's got to be it, right? Because maybe in the November drafts, it was kind of overreacting what we saw in the postseason. But even that, it was 4 innings. Like he needed 2 strikeouts in 4 innings. I mean, he didn't really do anything in the postseason. So I don't know. Maybe it is the Jack Flaherty potential signing that would knock Jackson Jobe out. Actually, it's interesting. I have a lot of Casey Mize. My teams
going
for some
super
reason,
late.
like he's so cheap and he's in the rotation and I think I had his forecaster box. Either that or
That'll
he was
help
on
convince you.
my team. And I don't know. He stuck out. Like in the second half, it was decent. So kind of a sidebar, but I'm a Casey
ADP of
Mize guy this year.
447.
Yeah.
447. It's like I was talking with Ben. I can't remember what pitcher we were talking. Oh, it was Mike Soroka as a member of the Nationals now. I know like we don't have to be all bought in on these guys, but like you mentioned, Mize is in the rotation, so those are innings at that ADP. Like Soroka has an ADP of 623 right now, as high as 540. He's going to get to pitch as much as he can in Washington. Now, good or bad, who knows? But those are innings in a DC. Those ADPs, it's can't just brush it off. Basically, what I'm trying to say. So, like, I get the Mize thing. I've looked at him many times in my drafts, going, this could be interesting if he sticks. I get it. And the former pedigree, you can do all the what ifs you want, but I see where your head's at on that one.
Where is Job going compared to like Painter and Bubba Chandler? Looks like he's just slightly ahead of those two guys.
Yeah, Painter's ADP is 305, as high as 263. So yeah, because Job was 277 in December. Bubba Chandler, not Chandler Simpson, 275. So he's going right next to Job.
Okay. I'm not going to pretend to be the prospect guy and analyze that, but that's interesting. Those guys are going right next to each other.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, we do have Uncle Ted saying Painter is a monster, so we've got that.
Most prospect people agree with that, but the Phillies have flat out come out and said Painter won't be joining the team until July.
Yeah,
now obviously
that's a problem.
And they flat out said he's not going to pitch in the spring training, just throw. He's not going to start pitching until the season starts in the minors to limit the innings. Keep that in mind as well. All righty, we talked George Kirby here, one of your boys. November ADP 37. December 42, as low as 49. Interesting little drop here.
Yeah, I don't really know why, because like George Kirby's one of the most stable, like to a T, 191 innings exactly the last two seasons, with between 170 and 180 Ks and an ERA between 335 and 350, like an exact copy. So I don't know why George Kirby's falling. I say falling, but it's 5 picks early in the draft. So could just be these closers, right? It's a 0-sum game. All these closers are moving up. Someone's got to move down, and steady Kirby is the guy who moves down.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And his teammate Luis Castillo moves down as well. November ADP is 75, December of 84, as low as 97, almost out of the top 100 for Luis Castillo. And I guess out of that massive pitching world in Seattle, the 5-man rotation that was outstanding last year, Castillo kind of was the blip on the radar, as weird as that sounds. And I think people are kind of worried after seeing that in his age. My only guess.
There are a lot of miles on Luis Castillo's arm. And last year there was, the velocity was down really 1.5 miles on the fastball compared to 2 years ago. The swing strike rate dropped a ton, so like it was still above average, but this could be like a slight fade for Luis Castillo. And I wonder too, like they have been floated around, these Mariner pitchers have been floated around so many trade rumors. If you take these guys out of Seattle, which is a major strikeout park, they aren't as attractive, especially like a George Kirby. But I don't think they're trading Kirby, but more Castillo, maybe Brian Wu types.
Yeah, no, I agree that like the trade rumors aren't helping the cause. Let's put it that way as well.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole, 57 to 62. So he goes from like a mid to late round third into round 4 pick in a DC. If you look deeper, Garrett Cole has gone as low as 79 in drafts right now. There's a lot of movement with Garrett Cole. I know we saw still very good, but not as much dominance, I guess we would expect from Garrett Cole, not to mention the injury concerns last year. Do you think that's the reason why this drop's taking place, or is there anything else standing out to you with Garrett Cole?
I guess. I honestly, I still think it's too early. I think it's too early. 62 for Garrett Cole.
I wasn't big on Cole last year, so I get it.
Yeah, I don't know why Cole is dropping, but he should be, and probably should be dropping a little bit more. The signs of decline are pretty much everywhere in Garrett Cole's skill set, and then age 34 season to top that off. Still, I think, you can go from being the best pitcher in baseball to still being a really good pitcher. I think Garrett Cole's a good pitcher. It's just, it's not, for me, it's not a top 65 pick.
I'm with you. Logan Webb, ADP of 94 in December, 103 in December. So sorry, November, December. Webb's gone as low as 118. It seems like everything I hear, Ryan, everyone's talking about the strikeouts and all this stuff, which I get. So I get the drop. I'm not paying a premium for Webb, but if he keeps dropping a little more, he's a very enticing SP3.
It's just interesting to see all these like stable starting pitchers drop a little bit. And my guess is that it's just the general market prioritizing relievers over starters this
100%.
early.
Yes.
So I don't think there's really too much more to read into, especially for these. I mean, Logan Webb, like,
pretty darn,
we know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. He might not have all the consistent strikeouts, but ratios and innings, and you got that going for you. Hunter Green coming off a career year, 86 ADP in November, 94 in December, going as low as 110. I think people are starting to open their eyes to the fact that he did really well and maybe overachieved a bit this past season and are getting a little scared at the moment.
And maybe look at the fastball velocity and the innings pitch total and how Hunter Green ended the season injured, like all those things. So I think the fall is warranted for Hunter Green. Super talented pitcher, but don't like the velocity, don't like the health history, don't like the park, and don't like all that at that top 100 price.
Yep, completely agree. Brandon Woodruff, 197 ADP in November, 217 in December, as low as 236. And I haven't even been able to draft Woodruff because I have zero idea of how healthy he is or what the situation is. So I expect, to me, 197, 217 are still too high. But I have no clue.
I don't either. And that's another one. Just like I said with Sandy, like, I don't know what to do with Brandon Woodruff, so I'm not drafting him. Even at 217, like, pretty severe injury, shoulder, and then the Raynaud syndrome. Like, there's just, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it with Woodruff.
I'll say this much, at least for me, the difference with Sandy, he was throwing like the last month of the season.
Yes.
And could have come back. Like, his velocity was up close to 100 or hit 100 a couple times. I don't even know if Woodruff's really throwing right now. And that's the part, like, we have no clue, or I've not seen it anywhere, of Woodruff getting ready type stuff. That's concerning to me.
That's a really good point. And to me, that is, at least knowing that, is so worth the 70 picks that Sandy's going before. Yes. Brandon Woodruff. Like, we at least know Sandy is alive. Brandon Woodruff is on early season Tommy Edman.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he's on our Tommy Edman list right now. Is he alive?
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes. 100% on that.
I hope he is. He was one. I mean, when we first started this podcast,
yep.
I remember we had Brandon Woodruff like top 3 starting pitcher overall. That is the ceiling.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Yeah, ratio machine, Brandon Woodruff. But
you
can't do that if he's not out there. Mitch Keller, 273 ADP in November, 296 in December, as low as 338. I know I've been drafting him when he falls right now. I'll get your thoughts. What do you think is this big drop off from a guy that strikeouts were good? I know ratios were inconsistent, but before I keep talking and taking all your points away, what are your thoughts on Mitch Keller?
No, I don't really have many points. This is another one. It's kind of sound like a broken record at this point. Like, Mitch Keller's stable as hell.
Yeah,
I don't know why he's dropped. Like, I don't think Mitch Keller is all that great. Like, you get a ton of volume, but the ratios, I mean, the last 2 seasons have been like a 4.20 ERA, high 120s WHIP. Like, a lot of innings of that is, I mean, it's not going to kill you, but it's fine. You do get a bunch of Ks, so I don't know. I don't know why Mitch Keller's dropped a couple rounds. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we're looking at Keller here. He had 166 Ks last year, 210 the year before. He's got 178 innings, 194 innings the last 2 years. The WHIP 1.3, 1.25. So WHIP's not great, but 4.25 ERA, 4.21, 3.91. Those aren't going to crush you this late in the draft. Those are, like, again, guaranteed starters. Like, he's in the rotation. This is interesting stuff to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, I don't know. I've long been low on Mitch Keller.
I'm just looking. Like, if you're going past pick 300, I'm just like, I'll take my chances there for a starter. Give me some depth.
Yes.
Jared Jones, teammate of Mitch Keller, 127 ADP in November, 136 in December, as low as 164. And this one surprised me. I thought people I know it didn't finish great, but I figured people might be back on the train here.
Yeah, I thought so too. I don't know. I'm worried about not only just the injury, but like Jared Jones' skills in the second half were nowhere near what they were in the first half. And I think that matters for someone like Jones, who's young and coming off the injury. So I think this is a case of early drafters kind of taking that second half more into account, which I think they should. Like the swinging strike dropped a ton from 16 to 12%, even though the K rate didn't really budge. And then you tack on the lat issue that he had. I don't know. We've seen what Jared Jones can do, and it's elite, but we've also saw kind of the ugly side of him last year too.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair. Very fair. AL Rookie of the Year. Luis Eel, 181 November, 193 December. He's gone as low as that's not that one. Oh, wow, there's a lot of eels. 222.
There's a lot of eels.
Well, because it looks like Gilbert's and all those when he's typing GIL.
Oh, GIL.
Yeah. So he's falling, and I'm going to give you the floor before I talk any more on this, but it's a very interesting predicament in New York.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't want to say I don't like Luis Heel. Maybe it's probably the way he finished the season, but it's also the starting pitchers going around Heel. I just really like Brandon Pfaadt, Nick Pivetta, Sean Manaea, Evaldi, even Mackenzie Gore. All those guys are going like right around or after Luis Heel, and I'm just taking those guys instead of Heel. But
yeah, I like the talent of Eel. I'm very interested in drafting Eel. At least I was. I'm scared as heck to draft him now after the Fried signing because now they have 6 potential starters. It's basically Eel versus Schmidt because I feel like Stroman, they paid him. He's going to be in the rotation. There's Rodon, Fried, and Cole. So Eel will get his starts throughout the year, but will he start in the rotation is my concern. And I remember tweeting about it when I think they signed Fried or something. I'm like, wow, you win AL Rookie of the Year and you might not even be in the rotation next year. That's pretty impressive and they're all hyped up on Clark Schmidt too. That's my only concern with Eel. I'm thinking that might be part of the drop, but I could be wrong there.
Even though they are paying Stroman, like you can't put Stroman over Eel.
Dude, I'm with you. I'd put Stroman in the bullpen as well because they can't send him down's the problem. So then what issue does he cause in the clubhouse?
They just cut him. I mean, it's not my money, but
well, let's just talk about this real quick. That was the wrong button to put here. If we're talking Marcus Stroman, dude's making over $18 million right now. Are you just washing away $18 million?
Like I said, it ain't my money.
Yeah, I said they tried to trade him. And
no, it's a good point.
Yeah, that's my only concern.
There is like nothing they can't trade him. I mean, they would have to eat a ton of money.
Yes,
so maybe, but I don't know.
I agree. There's no reason Eel shouldn't be out there, but something.
Yeah. I don't know. I just Heel himself. Super fortunate BABIP last year was down near like 250. The xERA x WHIP that we put out in the forecaster was above 4 and then a 1.4 expected WHIP because the walks are an issue and he gives up a ton of fly balls. Like walks and fly balls in Yankee Stadium isn't the best mixture for someone who's going to try and repeat a 350 ERA, a 119 WHIP. So that's really my main case against Luis Heel, but he is better than Marcus Stroman. I'll give him that. All
right, the last one we have here is a Bloom boy, or what you call it? You're a Bloom boy or Ryan's boys. So what were they earlier? Jeffrey Springs was one of your boys a couple years ago.
Yeah, him and Rasmussen were Ryan's Rays. Ryan's Rays. They were not Ryan's Rays. Bloom's boys. That sounds.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Ryan's Rays, Jeffrey Springs. November ADP of 219, December of 236, as low as 267. Man, signing with the A's will really deteriorate your ADP, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. But also, like, I don't know, Springs wasn't that great last year. And I know he's coming off coming off Tommy John, so he treated with a grain of salt, but it was only 63 innings. Like how many innings could we realistically expect at Jeffrey Springs? So we'll see. I think the price is fine, and I think the drop is warranted going from Tampa to Oakland, depending how we think the park is. Funny, like both of those teams are now in minor league parks. Not really funny, but it's interesting.
Yeah, and the A's GM, again, the GM's not the problem as much as the owner. They said they want like 150 innings out of Springs, which 150 innings, if Springs is healthy, is pretty good. So
yeah. Going around Clark Schmidt, Bowden Francis, Ronel Blanco, Lodolo, who I'm taking.
Lodolo, obviously. Yeah.
But I think he fit. I think Springs fits with that crew.
Yep, I'm with you as well. Any final thoughts on this Bloom board, as we have a couple listener questions to get to, but a lot of some obvious ones and some kind of head scratching. It's more markets just changing, I guess.
I think it's more markets just prioritizing relievers and not starters. We did have a question in the chat. I'm taking your job about Walker Buehler.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Go for it if you found it.
Walker Buehler's. I think why is Buehler not listed here? Because draft and holds in December are okay. It was from Uncle Ted. Why didn't Buehler jump? But it just hasn't filtered into drafts yet for draft and hold.
Yes, November versus December. And sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
Well, I just pulled it up because even in December, he's only gone as high as 209. So there's probably a bunch of drafts going on since he got drafted that have not come into play yet. But
and in Gladiators for Buehler as high as 233. So really has not jumped yet with Boston.
So. Yeah, no, it'll change once we get a few more coming in. But yeah, nothing crazy yet. We did have a question here from our buddy Britton Allen. Hey, y'all, around 27 in NFBC 50s, these pitchers are drafted. Who do you like? Luzardo, Jose Soriano, Brian Bayo, Nick Martinez, Matthew Boyd, or David Festa? Ryan, what you say?
I would, if I had to rank them, I would go Luzardo just on the ceiling and the faith that I have in the Phillies front office. Then I would go David Festa, Boyd, Martinez, Bayo, Soriano. Close. It's close.
It is. I go Luzardo, Soriano, Festa, Boyd.
Okay. You like Soriano?
I like a strikeout upside. Good? I like a strikeout upside. He's coming off an injury, though, which makes it sketchy as hell. But I like his strikeouts. Bayo, I love. It's just he's not getting the Ks, man. It's brutal. And I don't trust Nick Martinez as far as I can throw him. Yeah, I'll take Luzardo for sure at the top. And then Festa after that, you just got to get in the rotation. As we already talked about, the Twins rotation is pretty full at the moment. So I got to get him in there. But yeah, I go Luzardo for sure.
And
all right.
Hope all is well, Britton. Sorry about your Vols last week. I was rooting for you.
On the beatdown.
But yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, it's okay. All traveling teams did. Don't worry about it, Britton. Can't do it all. That's it for the questions, Ryan. That was it. Any final thoughts on episode 199, episode 200 coming out next week? Remember, big announcements coming out for everybody. So anything else before you travel to the best place, one of the best places on earth, Scottsdale?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm not excited about hauling 2 car seats through PDX as we were talking about earlier, but once we get down there, Arizona will be awesome. So I'll be around. I will be in the Discord. I will be probably not writing Patreon stuff. That's your angle. Yep. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It has been raining nonstop in Oregon, and I need some sunlight. So Arizona will be fun.
I don't blame you one bit. Go have some fun, enjoy. Go make a little. If you have time, go maybe bring Raj to Dobson, get a little appearance, see what's going on over there. Maybe they'll give us a discount because you have Raj with you, and see where it goes. But have fun with that. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, you can hit us up. Hit Ryan on Twitter at RyanBHQ. The podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod. The podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom. And I am on Twitter at BDintric. For now, this was Bubba and the Bloom, episode 199. Catch y'all next time.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.